Energy-saving solutions. B2 energy prices have increased a lot in recent years. Do you think people should try harder to save energy at home? Definitely. Saving energy is important not only for reducing bills, but also for protecting the environment. I agree. There are many simple things people can do. For example, switching off lights when they leave a room seems obvious, but many people still forget. That's true. Another common mistake is leaving electronic devices in standby mode. Even when they are not being used, they still consume electricity. Exactly. I think people often underestimate how much energy is wasted through small daily habits. Absolutely. What actions do you think are the most effective? In my opinion, replacing old appliances with energy-efficient ones can make a huge difference. Modern refrigerators, washing machines, and air conditioners consume much less electricity. I agree, although buying new appliances can be expensive initially. However, the investment often pays for itself over time through lower energy bills. That's a good point. I also think home insulation is extremely important. If a house is properly insulated, less energy is needed for heating and cooling. Exactly. In hot regions, good insulation can reduce the need for air conditioning. In colder regions, it helps keep heat inside the building. Another effective measure is using LED bulbs. They last longer and consume far less electricity than traditional bulbs. That's true. Years ago, people used to rely mainly on older lighting technologies, but nowadays LEDs are much more common. What about saving water? Do you think that should be part of the discussion? Definitely. Hot water requires energy, so reducing water consumption also helps save energy. For example, taking shorter showers or repairing leaking taps can reduce both water and energy waste. Exactly. Small changes may seem insignificant individually, but together they can have a noticeable impact. Another interesting solution is solar energy. Many households are installing solar panels nowadays. I think that's one of the best long-term solutions. Solar panels can reduce electricity bills and make homes less dependent on traditional energy sources. However, the initial installation costs can still be quite high. That's true, although government subsidies sometimes help make renewable energy more affordable. Speaking of governments, do you think governments should control energy consumption? That's a difficult question. I think governments should encourage energy efficiency, but I am not sure they should control every aspect of people's consumption. I agree. Education and incentives are probably more effective than strict restrictions. Exactly. For instance, governments could offer tax reductions or financial support for energy-efficient renovations. That sounds reasonable. If people receive financial benefits, they are more likely to adopt energy-saving technologies. At the same time, certain regulations may be necessary. For example, building standards could require better insulation or more efficient construction methods. I think that's a fair approach because those regulations affect new buildings rather than limiting personal freedom. Exactly. Governments can influence long-term energy efficiency without directly controlling citizens' daily lives. Some people argue that stricter measures are necessary because climate change is becoming more serious. I understand that argument. However, excessive control may create resistance if people feel their choices are being restricted. That's true. People are usually more cooperative when they understand the benefits rather than being forced to change. Education plays an important role here. If citizens understand how energy consumption affects both finances and the environment, they may become more responsible voluntarily. I completely agree. Awareness is often more effective than punishment. Another advantage of saving energy is financial security. Lower utility bills leave more money available for other expenses. Exactly. Environmental benefits are important, but saving money is often what motivates people most. So to sum up, people can reduce energy use by improving insulation, using efficient appliances, installing LED lighting, saving water, and considering renewable energy. And while governments should promote energy efficiency through incentives, education, and reasonable regulations, excessive control may not be the best solution. In the end, a combination of personal responsibility, modern technology, and sensible government policies is probably the most effective way to reduce energy consumption.